Hi, it's Miss Dolores from Baldwin Borough Public Library. I'm back again for another Two-Chapter Tuesday. I hope you've been enjoying the Bad Guy series. We did the first 2 books from that series, and now we're going to start a new series so that you guys can have a taste of a little bit of everything in chapter books that you may have not read before. So today we're going to feature a book called Magic on the Map, and book 1 is called Let's Move, and it is written by Courtney Scheinmel and Bianca Turetsky. This is what the cover of the book looks like, and it is very similar to Magic Tree House in the style of an adventure, except instead of a tree house, it's a camper. So the camper is magic, and it teleports twins Finn and Molly to Colorado. But then the camper disappears, and they wonder how they're going to get back. So I'm just going to read the story. There aren't a whole lot of pictures in this book, but if there is a picture, I will show you the picture as we get to that page. Okay, let's get started. Okay, chapter 1. Driveway Surprise. On the last day of 2nd grade, Finn and Molly Parker came home to find a camper in their driveway. It was white with 1 orange stripe and 1 yellow stripe. It had a rounded roof and 3 windows on the sides. The twins checked to make sure the school bus had let them off at the right house. Yep, this was 24 Birchwood Drive, with its hunter green mailbox out front and purple Johnny jump-up flowers in the window boxes. But you couldn't see the window boxes now. They were blocked by the camper, which was as big as a boat. Molly turned to Finn. "What's this doing here?" she asked. Okay, here's the camper that they found just magically in their driveway. "How would I know?" Finn asked. "I just got here, same as you." Molly and Finn walked up the driveway slowly and carefully, as if the camper were a UFO. Finn was wearing his favorite baseball cap. It was from his Little League team, the Moonwalkers, and he never took it off. Well, not never. He took it off at school because hats were not allowed during class. And he took it off each night when he had to shower before bed. But every other minute of the day, he wore it, even when he was sleeping. Except right now, he took the hat off and shielded his eyes with his hand, peeking through the camper's tinted windows. Their dad jumped out of the driver's side of the door. "Ah!" the twins yelled in surprise. "Dad, you scared us," Finn said. "What are you doing home?" "And what's this?" Molly added. "It's a camper. Isn't it beautiful?" Mr. Parker said. He patted the side of a camper as if it were a new puppy. "Now we can take the trip I've always dreamed of taking." "What trip?" Finn asked. "A family road trip," their dad exclaimed. "We can go anywhere our hearts desire." "That's not true. We can't go to Bora Bora," Molly said. "Huh?" Finn asked. "Bora Bora is an island in Tahiti," Molly said. "It's in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, which means we can't drive there. Anywhere we travel in the camper has to be on this continent." "That's right, Ma," their dad said. "Can't get anything past you. But there are lots of other places these wheels can take us this summer. We can go anywhere in North America. Doesn't that sound great?" "I get car sick," Molly said. "Remember the time we drove to Grandma's house and I threw up all over Finn?" "I remember," Finn said. "It was so disgusting." "I didn't do it on purpose," Molly replied. "But you didn't have to do it on me," Finn said. "Do you get camper sick too?" "Probably," Molly said. "Gross," Finn said, placing his cap back on his head. "Kids, where's that Parker family spirit?" their dad asked. Just then, Mrs. Parker stepped out of the front door, her cell phone pressed to her ear. Her eyes widened at the sight of the camper in her driveway. Carol, I'm going to have to call you back," she said. She lowered the phone and shook her head. What in the world? Family vacation, honey, Mr. Parker said. Mrs. Parker's eyes scanned the driveway. Where's your car? I traded with Professor Vega in the astrophysics department, Mr. Parker exclaimed. It was a steal of a deal. The car only sat 5, and this camper sleeps 8. Oh no, Mrs. Parker said. You have to trade back. This takes up the entire front yard. And it's crushing my poor marigolds. Phew, Molly and Finn sighed with relief. The camper would be returned tomorrow. Dad would get his regular old car back. Everything would be normal again. But that night, Molly couldn't fall asleep. She tossed and turned until there was a faint morning light peeking through her window shade. Molly put on her fuzzy bunny slippers and carefully tiptoed down the stairs. She wanted to look at the camper one last time and maybe go inside it before Dad traded it back. She couldn't get car sick, or camper sick, if it was standing still. She quietly slipped outside and opened the unlocked camper door. To her surprise, someone was already there. Chapter 2, Magic Camper. And the state above the title of the chapter says Ohio. Finn was in the back of the camper, dressed in his gray and blue pajamas, matching slippers, and of course, his baseball cap. What are you doing here? Molly and Finn asked at the same time. Molly was going to say, Jinx, but then Finn wouldn't be allowed to talk, and she really did want to know the answer. I've never been inside a camper before, Finn said. I just wanted to see what it was like. Yeah, Molly said, me too. The twins didn't look much alike. Molly's long hair was reddish brown and wavy. Her eyes were the color of chocolate milk duds, just like their dad's. Finn had hair the color of dark chocolate, and it was clipped so short you couldn't tell if it was straight or curly. His eyes were as blue as the ocean, just like their mom's. But even though Finn and Molly looked different, and even though they liked different things, sometimes they were thinking the exact same thing at the exact same time. That was the case right now. Do you know what I'm thinking? Finn asked his sister. She nodded. You're thinking we should explore this thing? They walked the length of the main room of the camper. It was a kitchen, a dining room, and a bedroom, all rolled into one. The furniture was squished close together and bolted to the wall. I bet they did that so it doesn't slide around when the camper is moving, Molly said. I knew that, Finn told her. He pulled a lever on the couch and it turned into a bed. The counter turned into a table and the cabinet turned into a TV. Everything has to be 2 in 1 because there's not enough room for stuff to just be what it is, Molly added. The camper is bigger than a car but smaller than a house. I knew that, Finn replied. In the very back of the camper, there was a bathroom the size of a tiny closet. Outside the bathroom, just above the sink, a bulletin board was bolted to the wall. A map of the world had been pinned up, just like the one in Miss Giddy's second-grade classroom. Molly undid the safety lock on the cabinet beneath the sink and found a container of multicolored pushpins. She took a red pin and pushed it right into where their town was on the map, Harvey Falls, Ohio. She and Finn had lived there all their lives. Okay, this is a picture of the map that they're referring to in this story. So now you know that they live in Harvey Falls, Ohio. You shouldn't do that, Finn told her. It's not our property. At least it won't be as soon as Dad trades it back for his car. I want the next people to know we were here, Molly explained. She stared at her home state of Ohio. Her house and her town and her state had always seemed rather big to Molly. But on this world map, her state was the size of a wad of gum. Her town was the size of a pinprick. And her house was too small to be on the map at all. Molly sighed. It looks lonely, she said. The push pin? He said. Yes, Molly sighed again. You're being ridiculous, Finn told her. Push pins aren't alive. They don't get lonely. Molly knew that her brother was right. Besides, it was probably time to go back to bed. Anyways, but Finn had moved to the front of the camper, where there were two big leather seats. One was the passenger seat, and one was the driver's seat. Finn had never sat in the driver's seat before, but now was his chance to try. He sat down and put his hands on the steering wheel, and his legs were too short to even reach the pedals. Where to? He called back to his sister. If we go east, we could go to, what state is east again? I can't remember. Molly sat down in the passenger seat and rolled her eyes. Pennsylvania, she said. Didn't you pay attention to anything? Miss Giddy said. Finn shrugged. It was hard to pay attention in his class sometimes, especially during baseball season. Or we could go west, he said, to whatever state that is. He twisted the wheel right and left. Or we could go to France. France is another country, Molly told her brother, on a different continent. Fine. We could go up to Canada, though. That's our continent, right? Molly nodded. Well, up north. Or we could go way, way, way down, all the way to Mexico, Finn said. Vroom, 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 vroom. You shouldn't be playing around like that, Molly told her brother. Mom and Dad always say, cars aren't toys. A camper isn't either. Relax, Finn said. We don't have any keys. We can't really go anywhere. He twisted the wheel some more. Molly fingered the blue and purple friendship bracelet on her wrist. That's what she did when she was nervous. She'd made the bracelet herself, and she wanted to give it to a friend. She just hadn't decided who that would be yet. Finn pressed the button next to the steering wheel to turn on the radio, but nothing happened. I wish we did have the keys, he said. It's much more fun to pretend drive when you have music to sing along to. He began to sing his favorite song out loud. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Molly examined the little TV screen in the middle of the dashboard. There were also red buttons labeled power and volume, plus up and down arrows in blue. It's weird that there's a TV up here, Molly said. Drivers shouldn't watch TV. It's unsafe. She pressed the power button, even though she knew that it wouldn't work without the keys to turn the camper on. But the strangest thing happened. The TV screen lit up. First, a flash of white, then blue, and finally the word welcome popped up on the screen, each letter in bright red. A deep voice came out of the speaker. Hello, it said. Who are you? And that is the end of chapter 2. So we're going to come back another time on your time, and you can listen to chapters 3, 4, and 5, which I will have as a different recording.